If you're thinking about applying to grad school this fall, here's what most people do. They wait until summer, until August, then they panic, open a Google Doc, and start writing their personal statement. And that's the whole problem, because by August, you are already behind. Not because the deadline is close, but because the most important work isn't in writing the essays. The essays are just where the damage becomes visible. The people who get in, and I'm talking funded offers at top programs, they spent the spring doing something completely different. Not essay prep, not emailing a bunch of professors, but doing something earlier and more important that almost nobody tells you about. That's what this video is about. When I read application essays, I can immediately tell which ones are going to land and stand out and which ones are gonna be forgettable. And it's almost never about how good the writing is. The essays that don't work have a specific quality. They're technically complete, but they're completely forgettable. The person might be brilliant, their qualifications might be real, but there's no position. There's no specific argument that could only come from them. And this problem almost always stems from the same thing. This person never figured out where they're actually trying to go. Every strong grad school application has 3 parts. I call it the Grad App Roadmap. Your past, the experiences and perspectives that prepared you, your future, a specific vision for what you want to build and create in the world. And third, the bridge. Why this graduate program and why now, and how is this bridge gonna get you to that future vision? Most applicants have the past piece figured out. They can list their experiences. The problem is that they skip straight from past to the bridge without ever building the future. And without a compelling future vision, that bridge has nowhere to go. The essay becomes, here's what I've done, here's the program I want to attend, and an admissions committee reads it and thinks, okay, but so what? Why? Why does that even matter? And finding your why is not just about making a stronger application, it's also about getting through this process at all. Applying to grad school is expensive, it's time consuming, it's mentally demanding, and it will very likely stress you out. If your reason, your why isn't strong enough, if you're applying because you think you should or because your parents want you to, rather than because you are genuinely called to it, that's gonna show up in your essays. And it will show up in your energy every time you sit down to work on them. The people who make it through with applications they're actually proud of, they have a future vision so clear and compelling and specific that it pulls them forward through every hard part and hard moment in the process. That future vision is what we're building today. I graduated from Berkeley in 2009 at the height of an economic recession. My cover letters were completely ghosted, so I did what I was supposed to do. I studied for the GRE. I put together my list of architecture schools. I geared up to apply for the degree I had always planned on after my bachelor's in architecture. But then something unexpected happened. A friend invited me to join a community blog in my hometown of Wilmington, California. I started going to city council meetings, talking to activists, and learning about the polluting industries in my neighborhood. And I made the connection I had somehow never made previously, that my terrible childhood asthma, the hospitalizations, the home breathing machine, that was because of where I lived. My aunt and my grandmother's housing tract was literally on toxic soil that was in an active court case. I really grew up in this environment where toxic pollution was all around us, and I never connected the dots between who lived there, mostly Latinos, people of color, and the terrible polluting industries and how we weren't protected. I couldn't find a job, so I invented a job. I started interviewing community leaders, writing about what I was learning, and for the first time, I wasn't following someone else's curriculum. I was following questions I actually wanted answered. And these questions were leading me somewhere I never could have planned. 6 months later, it just hit me like, shit, I don't want to study architecture anymore. And not because architecture is bad, but because my conditioning just set me up to think that that's what I wanted for a good life. It took 4 years of following that curiosity into environmental justice work, a Fulbright fellowship, nonprofit work, writing, before I even had enough clarity to apply to grad school. But not for architecture. I ended up applying for a dual master's in city planning and public health. a combination I didn't even know existed when I had graduated undergrad. And I was nervous about applying to public health school when I had never taken a public health class in undergrad. But I had an important perspective that I was bringing to the fields of city planning and public health, having grown up in a neighborhood where people are dealing with tons of health problems because of the toxic pollution in the air. And I realized that coming from this neighborhood actually gave me a certain perspective on what needed to change. And that became my argument and my perspective that I was making in my grad school essays. And my argument connected directly to this Grad App Roadmap that I mentioned at the beginning. I discussed my past, where I came from and how that influenced me, and my future vision for what healthy communities of color could look like if we did the right city planning to improve health outcomes, and how getting a dual master's in city planning and public health was the bridge that I needed to get from where I come from to where I want to go. And when I wrote my essays, I'm not just regurgitating what I've studied, I'm instead making a coherent argument with a unique perspective that comes only from me. But I didn't get there by sitting down to write my essay. I got there by following questions I couldn't let go of for years before I ever thought about applying to grad school. Before I go further, I want to share an exercise with you I created from chapter 1 of my book. It's called Follow Your Trail of Intellectual Curiosity. It's how I walk every student through this initial part of the application process. It's free, grab the link below. The very first step in any grad school application is really trying to distinguish the difference between your conditioning and your curiosity. If you're following your conditioning, that's what's inherited from your family, from your culture, from what success is supposed to look like. And sometimes that leads people down this conveyor belt of a default path, and they end up maybe successful on paper, but like completely miserable and unhappy with their life because they were following someone else's dream. The way I help people see the difference between their conditioning and what they actually want is by following their curiosity. Your curiosity is something that is uniquely yours. Nobody can tell you what you're curious about, and no one can take away your curiosity. It's only something your body can intuitively feel. What makes you curious? What makes you care about something? That's only something you know, and it's different for every single person. The way you find your future vision is to tap into your curiosity. What I want for you and what I want for my students is to let their curiosity lead. That curiosity is going to help you craft a compelling vision that is unique to you and your dream and not anybody else's. When I ask students why they want to go to grad school, I often hear answers like, I want to be a therapist, I want to work in renewable energy, I want to get into tech. Those are fine career goals. They're what you want to do, what you want to become. But an admissions committee sees 50 versions of that every single cycle. The strongest applications shift from career goals to what I call world building visions. Not what you want for yourself, but what you want to create or change or build in the world. Instead of focusing on, I want to work in renewable energy, I want you to focus on, I want to accelerate the clean energy transition in rural communities that have been economically dependent on fossil fuels industries. Instead of thinking, I want to get into tech policy, when your why is clear and specific, you can have something like, I want to shape how AI systems are regulated in healthcare settings where AI bias has documented life or death consequences. Can you feel the difference? One describes a career path, and the other invites a program to invest in something bigger than the person's personal advancement. And once you have your future vision, the grad school bridge almost writes itself. You can say, I need research skills in X, I need access to Y lab, I need to study under Professor blah, blah, blah. And when you get that specific, it's clear how your past led to this grad school program and how this grad school program is the bridge to that future you want to create. And that right there is the total arc of a strong grad school essay. And that's what makes an applicant unforgettable. Not their credentials, not their GPA, it's the specific combination of their past to the specific future they want to create, and how the grad school bridge is the place that's going to get them from where they come from to where they want to go. That's what makes a person stand out. No one else has your combination. No one else has lived the life you've lived. Here's an exercise I designed to help you craft your future vision, to separate that conditioning and instead lead with your curiosity. First, start with a question you actually want answered. Not one that would look good in an essay, but something you would stay up past midnight trying to figure out. I have some question frameworks to help get you started. Like, how did the problem I care about come to be? Who is already working on this? And what are they missing? How might my specific background apply to this field in a way that isn't obvious? What is under-researched or not being talked about in this field? And then I want you to try to find the answers to these questions going through not only academic literature, but listening to podcasts, TED Talks, sign up for newsletters from organizations in your field or top thinkers. Look at government reports, see what think tanks are talking about. Before you jump into a Google search, there's two resources I want to share, Elicit.com and Semantic Scholar. Both of these are databases where you can put in a full research question and they will pull up academic papers to help you try to answer it. It's a really great resource if you're starting any kind of research or literature review where you're going to start with the actual academic sources and you're going to find stuff that is closer to what you're looking for than if you're just starting in a Google search or looking at Google Scholar. Pay attention to what happens in your body as you're finding sources. When an academic paper that would be completely boring to someone else sounds like a mystery novel that you can't put down, that's a really good signal that you are following your curiosity and moving in the right direction. This should not feel like eating your academic vegetables. It should feel good. It should feel exciting. And this is the fun part of a grad school application. Before you're writing essays and fine-tuning grammar, this is where you get to explore. So the goal of doing this exercise isn't to become an expert on this topic before you apply, but it's to help you find your specific angle, your specific perspective, what I call your grad school DNA. The intersection of the questions and your background that nobody else has. That is what is going to make your essay easy to write and make your essay impossible to forget. The point of this exercise is really just to follow your curiosity and follow this trail and see where it takes you. That might take you to a program that you didn't consider applying to in the first place, or it might take you to not applying to grad school at all. And that's the point. You want to be crystal clear and have a strong why on applying to grad school before you spend time, money, and years going to grad school. And if you want my complete application for how to submit a standout application from the first step all the way to looking for funding, check out my book, Beyond Acceptance, where I walk you through the whole process chapter by chapter.